Welcome back. I am John P. Today, I am excited to be talking about the Seiko Rowing Blazers collaboration watch with help in designing this watch by Eric Wind, a friend of mine from Wind Vintage. I absolutely am so excited to talk about this watch because I also believe in it myself because as you see, I have one on my wrist. Later in the video, I'm going to be sharing with you a better camera angle where we can kind of go top down and jump into this a little bit more. So for those of you that either are looking to get one or are curious, I can share with you this watch more in detail. But I'm so excited to be talking about this watch because not only do I like the watch and some watch collectors, this watch has really taken mainstream by storm. So towards the end of this video, I'm going to talk about where I think the valuations on these are going to go. I mean, I know when we talk about watches, I always say, buy what you love and enjoy, but some people don't always do that. People speculate. I mean, it's like anything else. Everyone has their own opinion. They can do what they want as a watch collector. I mean, as a person, really. So I'm going to share with you where I think this is going to go in terms of desirability and collectability. I'm really excited to share with you that. So first of all, what is this collaboration? This collaboration recently was released and there was a lot of buzz about it because it was a mesh between this Rowing Blazers brand as well as Seiko, which is, I mean, we all know Seiko. They're as iconic as Rolex, different type of watch, but you get the picture. It's Seiko. And so this is a big thing not only for Rowing Blazers, but it shows that Seiko is really willing to kind of put their hat in the ring in terms of style, I guess you would say. Now, Rowing Blazers, in my words, not theirs, is a brand which is like a streetwear version of an Ivy League clothing brand, a prep clothing brand, and you have a bit of a streetwear version. Now, not all of their clothing, I would say, is like streetwear. A lot of it is like traditional classic styling. I mean, after all, the name of the company is Rowing Blazers, named after a book, I believe. And what you have is an iconic Rowing Blazers that rowers would wear. And when they launched the brand, I think you had the Winklevoss twins, which are, obviously famous in the tech community now, but once upon a time they were rowers. So that is kind of the feel and the vibe of that whole brand. And then when you mix it with Seiko, I think it is just a killer combination because you take a newer brand like a Rowing Blazers, you pair it with something that is truly timeless as Seiko. I mean, I know their designs go in and out, but as a brand, quite iconic and timeless and international for that matter, I think it's a really great deal. And then, of course, you mix in Eric Wind from Wind Vintage, who helped design this and kind of inspire and bring this to life. I think it is just a killer three-way combo here for this watch. And so this watch, when it was released just recently, it has the SRPG 49, SRPG 51, and the 53. So these watches were revealed and almost immediately they were sold out. 500 pieces, 500 pieces, 500 pieces. Two of the colorways are limited edition, and one of the colorways, I believe the multi-color block, the 90s, the SRPG 49, this is special edition with no real insight to whether more will be made. Certainly all of them are sold out, and I think it's probably likely that we won't see any floating around anywhere. But nonetheless, you get the picture. And when this was released, all the watch collectors were completely excited about this. They just thought it was something cool and at an affordable, approachable price point, whereas nowadays even the brands like Ming have kind of climbed up. So this was truly something that not only, you didn't have to be the biggest watch collector to jump into it, also those that are just into either the Rowing Blazers brand or style or pop culture could jump on board as well and be excited about it. So you saw a lot of people from a lot of different places, a lot of different interests, not only watch collectors jumping on this trilogy of watches, and not only collectors and people that are just have interest in this. So many celebrities were spotted wearing this watch. I saw so many myself. You had BJ Novak, which if you're not familiar, he played Ryan in The Office, and he's done so many other things. But also Daniel Day Kim was spotted with one of these watches. AJ from Ali and AJ, a duo, pop star duo who sing and play guitar. You have JJ Redick, a famous sportsman. You have Fred Savage from The Wonder Years, Randall Park, an actor, Tawny Newsome, an actress who is known for probably her latest work, which is Space Force, I believe, where she, acted alongside Steve Carell and other greats. You have Jimmy O. Yang, which is a comedian, and you have Gary Steingart, which is an author. So as you can see, so many celebrities love this watch as well. So this really captivated so many people, and I can understand why. So before I talk about the collectability and where I think the trajectory is going to go with this watch and kind of draw from other examples throughout history where I think we can kind of use that evidence to maybe support this claim, I want to share with you a top-down camera angle of this watch and really show you, for those that are maybe considering picking up one on the secondhand market, or maybe you're on a waiting list or something like that. I'd love to show it for you just so you know kind of what you're getting into. So let's flip the camera angle. So what we have here is the Rally Checkered Bezel collaboration with Rowing Blazers and Eric Wynn. Now this watch comes from my personal collection. I absolutely adore this watch. It's actually my daily wear currently just because it just feels so nice on my wrist with this special NATO strap for them. Now the watch also comes with a bracelet, but I just happen to really adore this watch on this kind of, what would you call this, a baby green colored strap. I think it's a very cool contrast between the blacks and the whites on the dial and bezel. So this watch, coming in at $495, retail, if you could find one, is 42.5 millimeters wide, 13.4 millimeters thick, so a little bit thicker, and it features a stainless steel case, as you can see. Now, flipping the watch over, we see that it does feature a unique and customized case back for this particular release. You see this kind of skeleton figure, as well as the words Tempus Fugit, which actually means time flies. So I think it's kind of interesting and probably well-fitting to put on the wrist, but also remind us that time does continue to go on. And you can see through the case back that it has the Seiko caliber 4R36 automatic movement, which features approximately a 41-hour power reserve. Now, if you're familiar with the Seiko 5 Street Fighter limited release, this is going to wear and feel pretty much like the same. It's going to have the same movement as well as, the same case, but what you have here is that special design with the bezel and the dial and the case back, which I think is just really hard to match at this price point. Really feels great on the wrist. The case is buttery. I know that probably these gentlemen behind this collaboration made sure that they were delivering a pretty good watch for us here as watch geeks and collectors, and not just something the mainstream can enjoy. So there we have a close-up view of the Seiko Rowing Blazers watch that I have in my personal collection. Let's touch just a bit on collectability and where I think the values can go, because this is something that's just part of watch collecting. Maybe not for the the mainstream buyers or the casual buyers that just truly want to wear this, but as you can see on Chrono24, on eBay, on the watch collecting forums, there are people that are trying to sell this watch for, in some instances, more than double retail. I mean, you might find one for $800 on eBay at an auction, or I believe the highest priced one currently is $1,200 US, $1,200, something like that. So this watch seems to be, at least they're asking for a great premium on this, and this is not something that only happens with this particular Rowing Blazers collaboration. This happens with all the other watches you see. In fact, one of the Ming Messina Lab watches, I believe they're trying to sell for several times the retail price. So this is nothing new, but the reality is if you want something, you have to pay what they're being sold for, and if you missed out on this collaboration, that's what the price is out there. But let's say at an average of maybe $1,000, this is what they're being asked for out there net to the seller. Now, when we're looking at future valuation of watch, let's say somebody wanted to add this to their collection and maybe speculate on this, or you're just curious to say, hey, I don't want to buy a watch that's going to half in price. Where is this going to go, John? Well, let me tell you, I mean, we can find the greatest deltas positive deltas between the retail prices of watches and what they trade for in kind of the gray or the secondhand market for watches that cross over from the watch collecting community to mainstream. Now, perfect example of this would be in mainstream. I mean, those that are not, consider themselves, hardcore watch collectors. I mean, people that buy things as, fashion items, or maybe they like watches a little bit, but these are not going to be people that are generally going to be watching these videos on YouTube. That's what I consider to be mainstream, the casual person, not the collector. And so one great example is when John Mayer mentioned the blue dial and the green dial gold Daytonas, Rolex Daytonas. A couple days later, these were selling at 20% premiums almost overnight. And these were watches that maybe weren't the most desirable because people haven't really caught on to buying the gold Daytonas yet. Really, they wanted stainless steel. That happened, went through the roof. You saw also with the John Mayer when he started wearing the Aquanaut and wearing it in a lot of his interviews and talking about it, the Patek Philippe Aquanaut really took off. Previously, you saw the Nautilus really climbing in demand and desirability because all the celebrities started wearing this, but then it grew out into the Aquanaut. I personally believe the 5167 that he was wearing really shot that one out in terms of pricing as well. And then moving on, you see things like Jay-Z and Kanye West really making the brand Hublot. But this isn't only watches in general. This is all products, right? People that have a lot of viewers, have a lot of followers, have a lot of respect in certain communities, whatever their community happens to be, whether it's acting, singing, sports, people see that and that item gets a lot more visibility. And I think when we look at these huge disparities and these differences or these increase in values in watches, it's because more people like them. And how do you reach more people to like them? You transcend or jump over from just the watch collecting community to the community or the world or everyone. There's way more people in everyone than there are in watch collectors. So if you can make a product or a watch like this Rowing Blazers, not only is this going to appeal to watch collectors, because it's a watch, this is going to appeal to Seiko collectors, which are a subset of watch collectors, but they're truly different, let me tell you that. And then you have the Rowing Blazers aspect, so you have that prep lifestyle mixed with the streetwear, which is something they kind of put a streetwear spin on, that prep lifestyle, and then you have the celebrities wearing it. So I think when we look at this, what we have truly is a perfect storm that could make this watch climb in value. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be a $20,000 US watch. I think that would be amazing for Rowing Blazers, Eric, and Seiko if a watch like this climbed up like that in value. Because at the end of the day, it is a Seiko watch. I can't see it going from 500 to 20,000, but I could easily see this watch over time climb to a few $1,000s. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of time go by yet, so it's hard to really put a number on that, but I think when you have that perfect storm of the celebrities and the crossover between the brands and the style and the lifestyle and the type of people, you're just increasing the amount of people that are going to like this watch. And I see absolutely no negative comments about this at all, anywhere from anyone at all. This watch seems to be universally loved for so many reasons, and I think they really did a great and killer job with this collaboration. But what do you guys think? What do you think about this collaboration? Do you think it's pretty neat? Is there anything you would possibly even love? For those of you that are familiar with the Rowing Blazers brand, are there any other kind of colorways or styles or designs you would love to see from this collaboration and partnership? I'd love to hear your comments and feedback below. Also, do any of you own this watch? What do you think about it? Have you been wearing it? I'd love to hear your experience as well. Anyway, guys, that's it for now. You have been chatting with John P. Ciao.